The office was bustling with the usual Monday morning energy, as employees hurriedly grabbed their coffees and settled into their routines. Among them was Marcus, a dedicated and hard-working black employee, who had been with the company for several years. Known for his diligence and positive attitude, Marcus had always believed in the value of hard work and integrity. That morning, the team gathered in the large conference room for the weekly meeting. The atmosphere was tense, as everyone knew Mr. Thompson, the boss, was notorious for his unpredictable temper. As the meeting progressed, Marcus presented his recent project, a proposal that he had spent countless hours perfecting. Just as Marcus finished his presentation, Mr. Thompson stood up, his face twisted in a sneer. "Is this what you call work?" he bellowed, his voice dripping with disdain. "This is pathetic. I expected better from you, Marcus." The room fell silent. Marcus felt the blood drain from his face as he stood there, stunned and humiliated. He could see the discomfort on his colleagues' faces, some avoiding eye contact, others casting him sympathetic glances. Mr. Thompson continued his tirade, belittling Marcus's efforts and questioning his competence in front of the entire team. "Maybe I was wrong to expect someone like you to understand the complexities of this project," Mr. Thompson added, his words laced with a thinly veiled racism that hung heavy in the air. Marcus could feel the sting of those words, each one cutting deeper than the last. He wanted to defend himself, to shout back and stand up for his work, but the shock and humiliation left him speechless. The meeting eventually moved on, but the damage had been done. Marcus sat through the remainder of it, his mind swirling with anger and a burning sense of injustice. As the meeting adjourned, Marcus quietly gathered his things and left the room. He walked back to his desk, his hands trembling, his heart pounding with a mix of rage and sadness. He felt the eyes of his colleagues on him, some filled with pity, others with discomfort. Marcus knew that he couldn't let this incident define him, but the path forward seemed uncertain. After the humiliating incident, Marcus took a few days to collect his thoughts. He replayed the event over and over in his mind, each time feeling a fresh wave of anger and shame. However, he knew he couldn't let this setback define his career or his self-worth. Determined to turn this negative experience into a catalyst for change, Marcus decided to take action. Marcus began by researching ways to improve his skills and knowledge in his field. He spent his evenings after work studying industry trends, learning new technologies, and seeking advice from mentors. He knew that improving himself was the first step towards not only proving his worth, but also regaining his confidence. Additionally, Marcus reached out to some trusted colleagues who had witnessed the incident. He wanted to understand their perspective and garner support for his next steps. Many of them expressed their shock and support, sharing their own frustrations with Mr. Thompson's management style. This bolstered Marcus's resolve to not only better himself, but also advocate for a healthier work environment. In his research, Marcus stumbled upon a leadership and diversity program offered by a prestigious university. The program focused on developing skills in leadership, innovation, and creating inclusive work environments. It seemed like the perfect opportunity for Marcus to not only advance his career, but also gain the tools needed to make a meaningful impact in his workplace. Without hesitation, Marcus applied for the program. He poured his heart into his application essay, detailing his experiences, his aspirations, and his commitment to fostering diversity and inclusion in the workplace. He knew the competition would be fierce, but he was determined to give it his all. While waiting for a response from the program, Marcus continued to excel at work. Despite the lingering tension with Mr. Thompson, he remained professional and focused on delivering his best. His dedication did not go unnoticed by his peers, and slowly, he began to rebuild his reputation within the company. Marcus also began to quietly document instances of inappropriate behavior and unfair treatment within the office. He knew that for any meaningful change to happen, there had to be accountability. He planned to use this information strategically when the time was right. Weeks later, Marcus received an email from the university's leadership program. With a mix of excitement and nervousness, he opened it. As he read the words, "Congratulations, you have been accepted," a sense of validation washed over him. This was the opportunity he had been waiting for, and he knew it could be the turning point he needed. Marcus immediately informed his manager about his acceptance into the program and requested a leave of absence to attend. The manager, aware of Marcus's potential and dedication, approved his request without hesitation. Marcus's colleagues congratulated him, genuinely happy to see him taking a step towards something positive after the recent events. With a renewed sense of purpose and a plan in motion, Marcus prepared to embark on this new journey. He was determined to come back stronger, armed with knowledge and confidence to face any challenge. He knew that what he did next could change not only his future, but also the culture of the company he worked for. The day finally arrived for Marcus to attend the Leadership and Diversity program. He packed his bags with a mix of excitement and nervousness, knowing this experience could be transformative. The program was held at a prestigious university known for its rigorous curriculum and influential alumni. As he arrived on campus, Marcus was struck by the beauty of the historic buildings and the energy of the students bustling around. Marcus joined a diverse group of professionals from various industries. Each participant brought their own unique experiences and perspectives, creating a rich environment for learning and growth. The program kicked off with an orientation session where the instructors outlined the goals and structure of the course. Marcus felt a sense of belonging as he listened to the stories of his fellow participants, many of whom had faced challenges similar to his own. Over the next few weeks, Marcus immersed himself in the coursework. The program covered a wide range of topics, including leadership theory, conflict resolution, strategic thinking, and the importance of diversity and inclusion in the workplace. Marcus found the discussions on unconscious bias and systemic discrimination particularly enlightening. These sessions helped him understand the broader context of the issues he faced at work and equipped him with strategies to address them. One of the highlights of the program was a workshop on effective communication. The instructor emphasized the power of storytelling in leadership and encouraged participants to share their personal stories. When it was Marcus's turn, he spoke candidly about the humiliation he had faced and his journey towards self-improvement. His story resonated deeply with the group, and he received an outpouring of support and encouragement. Marcus also forged valuable connections with his peers. He spent evenings discussing ideas over coffee, participating in study groups, and attending networking events. These interactions not only enriched his learning experience, but also provided a support system that he knew would be invaluable in the future. As the program progressed, Marcus felt his confidence growing. He was learning not just theoretical concepts, but practical skills that he could apply directly to his work environment. He became particularly interested in the idea of transformational leadership, which focuses on inspiring and motivating others to achieve their full potential. Marcus realized that this was the kind of leader he wanted to become. Towards the end of the program, participants were required to complete a capstone project. Marcus decided to create a comprehensive plan for implementing a diversity and inclusion initiative at his company. He spent countless hours researching best practices, consulting with experts, and drafting a detailed proposal. His project aimed to foster a more inclusive workplace culture, provide training on unconscious bias, and establish a mentorship program for underrepresented employees. On the final day of the program, Marcus presented his capstone project to his peers and instructors. He felt a mix of nerves and excitement as he outlined his vision for a more inclusive workplace. The response was overwhelmingly positive, with many commending his thorough research and practical approach. Marcus felt a deep sense of accomplishment and pride as he received feedback from his peers and instructors. As the program came to an end, Marcus reflected on how far he had come. He felt empowered, equipped with new knowledge and skills, and ready to take on the challenges ahead. He knew that implementing his ideas would not be easy, but he was determined to make a difference. Marcus returned home with a renewed sense of purpose and a clear plan for the future. Returning to work after the leadership program, Marcus felt a renewed sense of purpose and energy. He was determined to put his newly acquired skills and knowledge to the test. The first step was to present his diversity and inclusion initiative to the senior management team. He knew this would be a crucial moment, as their support was essential for the success of the project. Marcus scheduled a meeting with the company's executives, including his boss, Mr. Thompson. As he prepared his presentation, he made sure to include data and research that highlighted the benefits of diversity and inclusion in the workplace. He also incorporated success stories from other companies that had implemented similar initiatives. On the day of the presentation, Marcus walked into the boardroom with confidence. The senior management team, including Mr. Thompson, listened attentively as Marcus outlined his vision for a more inclusive workplace. He spoke about the importance of creating a culture where everyone feels valued and respected, regardless of their background. Marcus also emphasized the business benefits, such as increased creativity, better decision-making, and improved employee satisfaction. To his relief, the executives responded positively. They were impressed with Marcus's thorough research and the clear, actionable steps outlined in his proposal. Mr. Thompson, in particular, seemed genuinely interested and asked several questions about the implementation process. By the end of the meeting, Marcus had secured their support and approval to move forward with the initiative. With the green light from senior management, Marcus set to work. He began by forming a diversity and inclusion committee, composed of employees from various departments and backgrounds. This committee would help oversee the implementation of the initiative and ensure that all voices were heard. One of the first actions taken by the committee was to conduct an anonymous survey to gauge the current state of diversity and inclusion within the company. The survey results revealed areas that needed improvement, such as a lack of representation in leadership positions and a need for better education on unconscious bias. Using the survey results as a guide, Marcus and the committee developed a series of training programs and workshops. These sessions aimed to raise awareness about unconscious bias, educate employees on the importance of diversity, and provide tools for creating a more inclusive environment. Marcus personally led several of these workshops, sharing his own experiences and encouraging open dialogue among participants. In addition to the training programs, Marcus also introduced a mentorship program. This initiative paired junior employees from underrepresented groups with senior mentors who could provide guidance, support, and career advice. The goal was to help these employees advance within the company and ensure they had access to the same opportunities as their peers. As the months passed, Marcus began to see positive changes within the company. Employees were more engaged in discussions about diversity and inclusion, and there was a noticeable shift in the company culture. Colleagues who had previously felt marginalized now felt more included and valued. The mentorship program was particularly successful, with many participants reporting increased confidence and career development. Marcus's efforts did not go unnoticed. He received praise from both his peers and senior management for his dedication and leadership. Even Mr. Thompson, who had once humiliated Marcus, acknowledged the positive impact of the initiative. The entire company was beginning to realize the benefits of a more inclusive and diverse workplace. The turning point came during the company's annual awards ceremony. Marcus was recognized with a special award for his outstanding contributions to diversity and inclusion. As he stood on stage to accept the award, he reflected on his journey. The humiliation he had once faced had driven him to make a difference, and now he was seeing the fruits of his labor. The success of the initiative also led to new opportunities for Marcus. He was invited to speak at industry conferences, sharing his experiences and insights on diversity and inclusion. His story inspired others and helped spark similar initiatives in other companies. With the diversity and inclusion initiative gaining traction within the company, Marcus realized the importance of garnering broader support. To ensure the initiative's long-term success, he needed allies from all levels of the organization. He started reaching out to colleagues who had expressed interest in diversity issues, inviting them to join the committee and contribute their ideas. One of the first allies Marcus approached was Sarah, a senior HR manager known for her advocacy of employee rights. Sarah had always been vocal about the need for a more inclusive workplace, and she was thrilled to join the committee. With her extensive HR experience, Sarah provided valuable insights into how the company could revise its hiring practices and create more equitable opportunities for all employees. Marcus also reached out to Carlos, a mid-level manager in the IT department. Carlos had shared his own experiences of facing discrimination and was eager to support the initiative. His technical expertise proved invaluable in developing an internal platform where employees could anonymously share their experiences and suggestions for improving the workplace culture. In addition to forming alliances within the company, Marcus sought external support. He reached out to local organizations and industry groups dedicated to promoting diversity and inclusion. These connections provided additional resources and best practices that Marcus could incorporate into his initiative. They also offered opportunities for networking and collaboration, further strengthening the company's commitment to diversity. One of the most impactful partnerships Marcus established was with a non-profit organization that focused on mentoring underrepresented youth. This partnership allowed the company to launch an internship program specifically for students from marginalized communities. The program not only provided valuable work experience for the interns, but also brought fresh perspectives and ideas into the company. As Marcus built his network of allies, he continued to advocate for the initiative at every opportunity. He regularly presented updates to the senior management team, highlighting the positive changes and the growing support from employees. He also organized town hall meetings where employees could openly discuss their concerns and share their experiences. These meetings fostered a sense of community and reinforced the company's commitment to creating a more inclusive environment. One of the most significant turning points came during a quarterly all-hands meeting. Marcus was invited to present the progress of the Diversity and Inclusion Initiative to the entire company. He stood before hundreds of colleagues, sharing the journey so far and the positive impact it had already made. Marcus spoke passionately about the importance of diversity and how it enriched the workplace, making it a better environment for everyone. To illustrate the initiative's success, Marcus shared stories of employees whose careers had been positively impacted. He talked about Jasmine, a talented software developer who had felt marginalized due to her race and gender. Through the mentorship program, Jasmine had gained the support and guidance she needed to advance her career, eventually being promoted to a leadership position. He also shared the story of David, a veteran who had struggled to find his place in the corporate world. With the help of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, David had received training and support that allowed him to excel in his role and become a valued team member. The stories resonated with the audience, many of whom were seeing the tangible benefits of the initiative for the first time. The response was overwhelmingly positive, with employees expressing their support and appreciation for Marcus's efforts. Even those who had been skeptical at first were now convinced of the initiative's value. Encouraged by the growing support, Marcus and his allies continued to drive the initiative forward. They introduced new programs, such as diversity training for all employees and workshops on cultural competence. They also worked on creating more inclusive policies, such as flexible working arrangements for employees with different needs. The culmination of Marcus's efforts came when the company decided to hold a Diversity and Inclusion Week, a series of events and activities designed to celebrate the progress made and further educate employees on the importance of diversity in the workplace. The week was filled with workshops, panel discussions, cultural showcases, and networking events, all aimed at fostering a deeper understanding and appreciation of different backgrounds and perspectives. On the first day of Diversity and Inclusion Week, Marcus stood at the front of the large auditorium, looking out at the sea of faces before him. The room was packed with employees from all departments, eager to participate in the week's activities. Marcus felt a swell of pride and anticipation. This was the moment he had been working towards for months. "Welcome, everyone," Marcus began, his voice steady and confident. "I'm thrilled to see so many of you here today. This week is about more than just celebrating our diversity. It's about committing to continuous improvement and making our workplace a place where everyone feels valued and included." The opening event featured a keynote speaker, a renowned diversity and inclusion expert who shared insights on the benefits of a diverse workforce and practical strategies for fostering inclusion. The speaker's message resonated deeply with the audience, setting a positive tone for the rest of the week. Throughout the week, Marcus facilitated various workshops and panel discussions. One workshop focused on unconscious bias, helping employees recognize and address their own biases. Another session was dedicated to allyship, teaching employees how to support their colleagues from underrepresented groups actively. One of the most impactful events was a panel discussion featuring employees from diverse backgrounds who shared their personal experiences of discrimination and inclusion in the workplace. Hearing these stories firsthand was a powerful reminder of the importance of the initiative. Employees listened intently, many moved to tears by the candid accounts of their colleagues. In addition to the educational sessions, Diversity and Inclusion Week also featured cultural showcases. Employees were invited to share aspects of their culture through food, music, dance, and art. These showcases were not only a celebration of the diverse backgrounds within the company, but also an opportunity for employees to learn about and appreciate each other's cultures. One evening, the cafeteria was transformed into a global marketplace, with different stalls offering foods from around the world. The atmosphere was festive, with employees sampling dishes they had never tried before and engaging in conversations about the cultural significance of the food. Marcus watched as people laughed, shared stories, and made connections. It was a beautiful representation of the inclusive environment he had envisioned. As the week progressed, the positive energy and sense of community continued to build. Employees began to approach Marcus, sharing their appreciation for the initiative and expressing how it had positively impacted their work experience. Many spoke of feeling more seen and valued, and of the new connections they had made with colleagues from different backgrounds. On the final day of Diversity and Inclusion Week, The company held an award ceremony to recognize individuals who had significantly contributed to fostering an inclusive workplace. Marcus was honored with the Diversity Champion Award, a recognition of his tireless efforts and dedication to the cause. Standing on the stage, holding the award, Marcus felt a profound sense of accomplishment. He thought back to the day he was humiliated in the office, and how far he and the company had come since then. "This award isn't just for me," Marcus said, his voice filled with emotion. "It's for everyone who believed in this initiative and worked hard to make it a reality. It's a testament to what we can achieve when we come together and strive for a better, more inclusive workplace." The applause was thunderous, and as Marcus looked out at the faces of his colleagues, he knew that this was only the beginning. The foundation had been laid, and the company was on a path towards becoming a truly inclusive environment. After the whirlwind of Diversity and Inclusion Week, the company felt different. The atmosphere was lighter, the interactions between employees were more genuine, and there was a newfound sense of camaraderie. The seeds of change that Marcus had planted were beginning to bear fruit, and the entire company was starting to reap the benefits. One day, a company-wide email was sent out by the CEO, acknowledging the success of the Diversity and Inclusion Week and the significant impact it had on the company culture. In the email, the CEO praised Marcus for his leadership and vision, and announced that the company would be implementing many of the initiatives on a permanent basis. This included ongoing diversity training, regular cultural showcases, and the establishment of an official Diversity and Inclusion Committee, which Marcus was asked to chair. The email concluded with an invitation to a town hall meeting, where the CEO would share more details and answer any questions employees might have. Marcus felt a swell of pride as he read the email, knowing that his efforts were being recognized at the highest level of the company. The day of the town hall meeting arrived, and the large conference room was filled with employees. There was an air of anticipation as the CEO took the stage. He began by thanking everyone for their participation and enthusiasm during Diversity and Inclusion Week. "This was a team effort," he said, "and it's clear that we are all committed to making our workplace more inclusive and welcoming for everyone." The CEO then invited Marcus to the stage, and the room erupted in applause. As Marcus walked to the front of the room, he felt a mix of nerves and excitement. This was his moment to share his vision for the future and to solidify the changes that had been set in motion. "Thank you, everyone," Marcus began, his voice steady. "I am truly humbled by the support and encouragement I've received from all of you. This journey has been incredibly rewarding, and I'm proud of what we've accomplished together." Marcus spoke about the importance of maintaining momentum and continuing to build on the progress they had made. He outlined the plans for the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, which would be responsible for overseeing ongoing initiatives, gathering feedback from employees, and ensuring that the company remained committed to its goals. He also shared some personal reflections, speaking candidly about the challenges he had faced and how those experiences had motivated him to advocate for change. "I've been on the receiving end of discrimination and bias," Marcus said, "and I know how it feels to be marginalized and overlooked. But I also know that change is possible. We've seen it happen here, and I believe we can continue to grow and improve." The audience was visibly moved by Marcus's words, and when he finished speaking, there was a standing ovation. As Marcus looked out at the sea of faces, he saw expressions of admiration, respect, and hope. It was a powerful moment, one that affirmed the importance of the work they were doing. After the town hall meeting, employees approached Marcus to thank him and share their own experiences. Many spoke of how the initiatives had positively impacted their work environment and their personal lives. Some shared stories of how they felt more confident and supported, while others spoke of the new friendships they had formed with colleagues from different backgrounds. One employee, a young woman named Lisa, approached Marcus with tears in her eyes. "I just wanted to thank you," she said. "I've always felt like an outsider here, but the changes you've made have given me a sense of belonging. I finally feel like I'm part of the team." Marcus was deeply touched by Lisa's words. He had always believed that creating an inclusive environment was about more than just policies and procedures. It was about making people feel valued and respected. Hearing Lisa's story was a reminder of why this work was so important. As the days turned into weeks, the changes continued to take root. The Diversity and Inclusion Committee held its first meeting, and Marcus was impressed by the passion and dedication of its members. They brainstormed new ideas, planned upcoming events, and discussed ways to keep the conversation about diversity and inclusion ongoing. The company also started to see tangible benefits from the initiatives. Employee engagement and satisfaction scores increased, and there was a noticeable improvement in collaboration and teamwork. The company's reputation as a diverse and inclusive workplace began to attract top talent, and they received positive media coverage for their efforts. As the company continued to thrive under the new initiatives, an unexpected consequence began to unfold. Marcus's leadership and the visible changes within the organization caught the attention of the industry. Competitors, clients, and even potential partners started to take notice of the remarkable transformation happening at his company. One day, Marcus received a call from a well-known industry magazine. The editor-in-chief was interested in featuring the company in a special edition focused on diversity and inclusion in the workplace. She wanted to highlight the company's journey, the challenges they faced, and the successes they had achieved. "We've been hearing great things about what's happening at your company," she said. "We believe your story could inspire other organizations to take similar steps. Would you be willing to share your experience with our readers?" Marcus was initially hesitant. The idea of putting himself and the company under a spotlight was daunting, but he realized the potential impact of sharing their story. It could encourage other companies to prioritize diversity and inclusion, and it could also validate the hard work and dedication of everyone involved in the initiatives. After discussing it with the CEO and the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, Marcus agreed to the interview. A few days later, a journalist and a photographer arrived at the office. They spent the day talking to Marcus, the CEO, and several employees, capturing their stories and experiences. The journalist asked Marcus about his personal journey, the challenges he faced as a black employee, and what motivated him to spearhead the diversity initiatives. Marcus spoke candidly, sharing both the struggles and the triumphs. "What do you hope other companies will learn from your experience?" the journalist asked. "I hope they learn that diversity and inclusion are not just buzzwords or corporate jargon," Marcus replied. "They are essential to creating a workplace where everyone can thrive. It's about recognizing the value of each individual, respecting their unique perspectives, and fostering an environment where everyone feels they belong." The article was published a few weeks later, and the response was overwhelming. It garnered widespread attention and sparked conversations across the industry. Companies reached out to Marcus for advice on implementing their own diversity initiatives, and invitations to speak at conferences and events started pouring in. One evening, as Marcus was leaving the office, he received a call from a former colleague, Alicia. They had worked together years ago at a different company, and she had always been a mentor to him. "Marcus, I just read the article," Alicia said, her voice filled with pride. "I'm so impressed with what you've accomplished. I always knew you had the potential to make a difference, but seeing it in action is incredible." "Thank you, Alicia," Marcus replied, touched by her words. "It's been a challenging journey, but it's also been incredibly rewarding. I never imagined it would have this kind of impact." Alicia paused for a moment before continuing. "You know, there's a position opening up at my company. It's a senior role, focused on driving diversity and inclusion initiatives across the organization. I think you'd be perfect for it. Would you be interested?" Marcus was taken aback by the offer. It was a significant opportunity, one that could take his career to new heights. But he also felt a deep sense of loyalty to his current company and the team he had built. "I'm honored, Alicia," Marcus said, "but I need some time to think about it. I've invested so much here, and I want to make sure I'm making the right decision." "Of course," Alicia replied. "Take all the time you need. Just know that the offer stands, and I believe you could make an even bigger impact here." As Marcus hung up the phone, he felt a whirlwind of emotions. The offer was tempting, but he also felt a sense of unfinished business at his current company. There was still so much work to be done, and he wasn't sure he was ready to leave just yet. That night, as he reflected on the unexpected consequence of his efforts, Marcus realized that the impact of his work extended far beyond the walls of his office. He had sparked a movement, one that was gaining momentum and inspiring others to follow suit. The decision ahead of him was daunting, but Marcus knew that whatever he chose, he would continue to champion diversity and inclusion. It was a cause that had become deeply personal, and one that he was committed to for the long haul. The attention from the industry and the positive responses from other companies invigorated Marcus and his team. They realized the significant impact their story had and were motivated to continue pushing forward with their initiatives. Amidst this, Marcus couldn't shake off Alicia's offer and the potential it held. Torn between the two opportunities, he sought advice from his colleagues and friends. One afternoon, while discussing the situation with Maria, a senior member of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, she suggested an idea that Marcus hadn't considered. "Why don't you propose a partnership between the two companies?" Maria suggested. "If Alicia's company is interested in driving diversity and inclusion initiatives, maybe they could collaborate with us. It could amplify our efforts and create a broader impact." The idea struck a chord with Marcus. A partnership could allow him to stay with his current company, while also expanding the reach and effectiveness of their initiatives. Excited by the prospect, he immediately reached out to Alicia to discuss the idea. "Alicia, I've been thinking about your offer," Marcus said during their call. "While I'm honored, I'm also deeply committed to the work we're doing here. But I have a proposal that might benefit both our companies. How about we explore a partnership focused on diversity and inclusion?" Alicia was intrigued. "That's an interesting idea, Marcus. We've been looking for ways to strengthen our initiatives, and a partnership could provide new insights and resources. Let's set up a meeting with our leadership teams to discuss this further." A week later, the leadership teams from both companies gathered for a meeting. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation as Marcus and Alicia presented their proposal. They outlined a vision for a collaborative initiative that would pool resources, share best practices, and create joint programs aimed at promoting diversity and inclusion within their organizations and the industry at large. The CEOs of both companies were impressed by the proposal. They saw the potential for a powerful alliance that could set a new standard for corporate responsibility and inclusivity. After a thorough discussion, they agreed to move forward with the partnership. Over the next few months, the two companies worked closely to develop and implement joint initiatives. They organized workshops, training programs, and community outreach projects. They also launched a scholarship fund to support underrepresented students pursuing careers in their industry. The partnership proved to be a resounding success. Employees from both companies reported feeling more engaged and valued, and the initiatives received praise from industry leaders and media outlets. The combined efforts created a ripple effect, inspiring other organizations to follow suit and prioritize diversity and inclusion. One evening, as Marcus and Alicia reflected on the journey, they couldn't help but feel a deep sense of accomplishment. Who would have thought that such a difficult experience could lead to something so positive? Marcus mused. It's incredible to see the impact we're making. Alicia nodded. It just goes to show that even in the face of adversity, there's always an opportunity to create change. I'm glad we took this path, Marcus. Their conversation was interrupted by an email notification. It was from the editor of the industry magazine that had featured Marcus's story months earlier. The magazine wanted to do a follow-up article, highlighting the partnership and the ongoing impact of their initiatives. Marcus and Alicia smiled at each other, realizing that their story was far from over. They had turned a moment of discrimination and pain into a powerful movement for change, and their journey was just beginning. The months following the formation of the partnership between Marcus's company and Alicia's saw a whirlwind of activity and success. Their collaborative initiatives were not only transforming their respective workplaces, but also making significant ripples across the industry. News of their efforts spread far and wide, catching the attention of various industry leaders and organizations dedicated to promoting diversity and inclusion. In recognition of their groundbreaking work, Marcus and Alicia were invited to speak at numerous conferences and events. They shared their journey, the challenges they faced, and the strategies they employed to foster a more inclusive corporate culture. Their story inspired countless others, and many companies began reaching out to them for advice and guidance on implementing similar initiatives. One evening, as Marcus was wrapping up a long day at work, he received a call from the head of a prominent industry association. Marcus, I'm thrilled to inform you that you and Alicia have been nominated for the Diversity and Inclusion Leadership Award, the voice on the other end said enthusiastically. Your work has set a new standard in the industry, and we believe it deserves recognition. Marcus was stunned and elated. Thank you so much. This is truly an honor. I'll be sure to let Alicia know as well. The news of the nomination was met with excitement and pride by both companies. Employees felt a renewed sense of purpose, knowing their efforts were making a real difference. As the award ceremony approached, Marcus and Alicia prepared to attend, feeling both nervous and excited about the recognition their hard work was receiving. The night of the awards ceremony was filled with anticipation. The event was held in a grand ballroom, with industry leaders, dignitaries, and media representatives in attendance. As Marcus and Alicia arrived, they were greeted with applause and congratulations from their peers. During the ceremony, the host recounted the remarkable journey of Marcus and Alicia, highlighting their commitment to diversity and inclusion and the positive impact their initiatives had achieved. When their names were finally announced as the winners of the Diversity and Inclusion Leadership Award, the room erupted in applause. As they walked to the stage to accept the award, Marcus felt a wave of emotions. He remembered the humiliation he had felt when he was initially demoted, and how that painful experience had sparked a movement that led to this moment. Alicia spoke first, her voice filled with gratitude. This award is not just for Marcus and me. It's for everyone who has supported us, believed in us, and worked alongside us to make our vision a reality. We are honored and humbled by this recognition, and we promise to continue our efforts to create a more inclusive industry for everyone. Marcus stepped forward, his heart pounding with pride and determination. Thank you all for this incredible honor. This journey has taught me that even in the face of adversity, we have the power to create positive change. This award is a testament to what we can achieve when we come together and stand up for what's right. Let's continue to push for progress and make our industry a place where everyone can thrive. As they left the stage, the applause continued, echoing the sentiment of the entire room. The recognition from their peers was not just a personal victory for Marcus and Alicia, but a validation of their mission and the work they had done. In the days that followed, the award brought even more attention to their initiatives. Companies from various industries reached out, eager to learn from their success and implement similar programs. Marcus and Alicia found themselves busier than ever, consulting with organizations, speaking at events, and continuing to drive their mission forward. Their journey had come full circle, from facing discrimination to being celebrated as leaders of change. The recognition and awards were not just accolades. They were symbols of the progress they had made and the impact they would continue to have. Following the recognition and awards, the momentum continued to build around Marcus and Alicia's initiatives. The positive impact of their work became increasingly evident, not only in their respective companies, but also in the wider business community. It was clear that a fundamental shift was taking place, driven by their commitment to diversity and inclusion. One of the most significant outcomes of their efforts was the changing of company policies. Both Marcus's and Alicia's companies began a thorough review of their existing policies to identify areas where improvements could be made. This was a meticulous process, involving extensive consultations with employees at all levels, focus groups, and expert advisors. Marcus spearheaded the policy review at his company. He formed a committee comprising a diverse group of employees to ensure that all voices were heard. The committee met regularly, discussing various aspects of the company's policies, from recruitment and hiring practices to promotion criteria and workplace culture. One of the first changes implemented was a comprehensive diversity and inclusion training program for all employees. This program aimed to educate staff about unconscious biases, cultural competencies, and the importance of creating an inclusive environment. The training was mandatory for everyone, from entry-level employees to senior executives. Additionally, new recruitment policies were introduced to ensure a more diverse pool of candidates. This included partnerships with organizations that focus on underrepresented groups, as well as implementing blind recruitment processes to eliminate biases in the initial stages of hiring. Promotion criteria were also revised to ensure fairness and transparency. The company established clear guidelines and metrics for promotions, with an emphasis on performance, leadership qualities, and contributions to the company's culture and values. Regular performance reviews were conducted, with feedback from multiple sources to provide a well-rounded assessment of each employee's capabilities. Another significant change was the introduction of employee resource groups, ERGs. These groups provided a platform for employees from different backgrounds to connect, support each other, and advocate for their interests. ERGs were given the resources and support they needed to organize events, workshops, and initiatives that promoted diversity and inclusion within the company. At Alicia's company, similar changes were underway. Alicia worked closely with her HR department to revise policies and implement new programs. They introduced flexible working arrangements to accommodate employees' diverse needs, as well as mentorship programs to support the development of underrepresented groups within the company. One of the most impactful changes was the establishment of a Diversity and Inclusion Council. This council, chaired by Alicia, was responsible for overseeing all diversity and inclusion initiatives, ensuring accountability, and driving continuous improvement. The council met regularly to review progress, address challenges, and explore new opportunities for promoting diversity and inclusion. The changes in company policies had a profound effect on the workplace culture. Employees felt more valued and respected, knowing that their voices were heard and their contributions recognized. The atmosphere in both companies became more collaborative and supportive, fostering innovation and creativity. Moreover, the companies saw tangible business benefits from their commitment to diversity and inclusion. Studies have shown that diverse teams are more effective at problem-solving and decision-making, and both companies experienced increased employee satisfaction, retention, and productivity. The success of these policy changes did not go unnoticed. Other companies in the industry took note and began to follow suit, seeking guidance from Marcus and Alicia on how to implement similar initiatives. The ripple effect of their work continued to spread, inspiring a broader movement towards more inclusive and equitable workplaces. As Marcus and Alicia reflected on the progress they had made, they felt a deep sense of fulfillment and pride. They knew that there was still much work to be done, but they were committed to continuing their efforts and making a lasting impact. Their journey had transformed not only their own companies, but also set a new standard for the industry. The changes in company policies were a testament to what could be achieved when people come together with a shared vision and determination to create a better future. With their companies flourishing under new policies, Marcus and Alicia felt a renewed sense of purpose. They knew the changes they had initiated were only the beginning. To make a lasting impact, they had to address the larger issue at hand: the systemic racism and discrimination embedded in the corporate world. One afternoon, Marcus received a phone call from a prominent industry leader, inviting him and Alicia to speak at a high-profile conference on diversity and inclusion. The event promised to be a gathering of top executives from major corporations, offering a platform to discuss and promote meaningful change. Excited yet apprehensive, Marcus shared the news with Alicia. "This is our chance," he said, "to address the industry head-on and advocate for real transformation." Alicia agreed, her eyes reflecting determination. "We need to show them that diversity isn't just a buzzword. It's the key to a thriving, innovative workplace." The weeks leading up to the conference were a whirlwind of preparation. Marcus and Alicia spent countless hours crafting their speeches, gathering data, and rehearsing their presentations. They wanted to ensure their message was powerful, backed by evidence, and compelling enough to spark action. The day of the conference arrived, and the atmosphere buzzed with anticipation. Attendees filled the grand auditorium, eager to hear from the speakers. Marcus and Alicia were scheduled to present last, the highlight of the event. As they took their seats, Marcus noticed familiar faces in the audience: executives who had once dismissed his ideas, colleagues who had doubted his capabilities, and even the former boss who had humiliated him. He felt a surge of nerves but quickly steadied himself, remembering the journey that had brought him here. The other speakers presented their insights, sharing statistics and anecdotes about the benefits of diversity and inclusion. While their words were well received, Marcus sensed a lingering skepticism in the room, a reluctance to embrace true change. Finally, it was their turn. Marcus and Alicia walked to the stage, their presence commanding attention. Marcus began by recounting his experience, describing the discrimination he had faced and the challenges he had overcome. He spoke of the humiliation, the demotion, and the turning point that had set him on this path. Alicia followed, sharing her perspective as a woman of color in the corporate world. She described the barriers she had faced, the stereotypes she had fought against, and the resilience that had fueled her journey. Together, their stories painted a vivid picture of the harsh realities many employees endured. But they didn't stop there. Marcus and Alicia presented the results of their initiatives: the positive changes in company culture, the improved employee satisfaction, and the tangible business benefits. They shared testimonials from employees who had been empowered by the new policies, their voices echoing the impact of true inclusion. The audience listened intently, many visibly moved by the stories and data presented. Marcus and Alicia concluded their presentation with a powerful call to action, urging the industry leaders to take a stand against discrimination and commit to meaningful change. As they finished, the room erupted in applause. Marcus and Alicia exchanged a look of relief and triumph. They had delivered their message, and it had resonated. After the presentation, attendees approached them, eager to discuss their ideas and seek advice on implementing similar changes in their own companies. Among them was Marcus's former boss, who looked at him with a mixture of regret and admiration. "I was wrong about you, Marcus," he admitted. "You've shown remarkable strength and leadership. I want to learn from you." Marcus nodded, accepting the gesture. "It's never too late to change," he replied. "Let's work together to make a difference." The conference marked a turning point. Inspired by Marcus and Alicia's story, more companies began to re-evaluate their policies and commit to diversity and inclusion initiatives. The momentum grew, sparking a broader movement within the industry. Back at their companies, Marcus and Alicia continued their work, now with an even greater sense of purpose. They knew the road ahead would still have challenges, but they were prepared to face them together, armed with the knowledge that their efforts were making a difference. Their journey had started with a single act of defiance, but had blossomed into a powerful movement for change. And as they looked toward the future, they felt a renewed sense of hope and determination. The final showdown had not only left their companies in awe, but had also set the stage for a more inclusive, equitable corporate world. Marcus and Alicia's legacy was one of resilience, courage, and the unwavering belief that together, they could change the world.